welcome to my YouTube channel, Weddings on a Dime. I'm so happy to have you guys back with me today to learn more about how you can have your perfect wedding day on a budget. And on that note, a very low budget, just like I did. I know there's lots of other brides who've done it, and I know I had a lot of questions when I got married on how I could save money and still make it beautiful. And I wished I had had YouTube videos like this to watch and get ideas from. So first, if you could, please hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, that would really help, and please let me know in the comments of what else you'd like to see from me. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be talking about 20 of the most commonly forgotten wedding details. And sorry if I look down, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything important. So let's get started. Number one, it is very important as the bride to make sure that you eat something on your wedding day. That's very, very important. I know you have a lot of jitters, a lot of nerves, excitement, and it's hard to eat. I know on my wedding day, I was very nervous, and I remember my stomach was kind of upset, and it was hard to eat something, but I just made myself try to eat something. I think I ate a couple of bananas that morning. I ate maybe a quarter of a sandwich. So make sure you have people in charge of bringing you food. Don't you be in charge of that. I had plenty of people coming by asking me. I didn't eat all of it, but at least I had people coming and bringing me something and that I was eating it. Because that's very important. You don't want to feel dizzy from not eating enough, and you don't want to feel hungry right as you're about to walk down the aisle. You want to have energy because that day is going to be very long. You're going to have lots of people talking to you, so you just want to make sure that you have lots of energy for when talking to people. All right, number two, have a schedule and plan for setting up. That's one thing I wished I had done, because especially the day before, setting everything up for the wedding, we didn't have a lot of organization. So that's one thing I wished I had done, was set out a game plan for where everything goes. I just kind of go with the flow with everything, and it kind of stressed me out. Everyone else did a great job of pulling everything together, but to help me not be as stressed, I wish I had more of a game plan and more of a set idea of where I wanted all the decorations to go and how everything should be set up, because I thought it would only take half an hour to set up our where the ceremony was going to be, because there wasn't a lot. It was just an aisle runner, a little bit of fabric along the aisles, candles, and then we had an arch where we got married, and we were going to decorate the arch. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it took a long time to set it all up. So make sure that you have a schedule for everything that needs to be set up. That's a must. Put the important things first. That way, if you need more material or something, you'll have time to go out and buy whatever else you need. Because that was one thing, we needed more material of a couple of things, and it's a good thing we started early because we were running low on time and stress and trying to get it done before everyone started arriving for the dress rehearsal. So that's one thing I wish I'd done, was set a set schedule for setting up. Anyway, you know what I mean. Moving on. Number three, pick a friend or family member to help things run smoothly the wedding day. That's what I did. I'm glad I had thought to do that. I picked a real good friend of mine who is very organized, and she is very good at getting things done. So I asked her several months in advance if she wouldn't mind making sure that during the ceremony, making sure each person walked down at the right time. She would tell them when to go. That was pretty much all she had to do during the ceremony. She just told people, like the flower girl, when to walk down, the bridesmaids, and then me. And she also was in charge of shutting the doors before my grand entrance. So it's good to have someone in charge of that. You don't want to have to do that right before you walk down the aisle. You just want to be focused on getting down the aisle without falling. So set someone in charge of that. And then most importantly for the reception, you need someone to get you at certain times for the cutting of the cake, for the throwing of the bouquet, for the garter throw, whatever else you might be doing, the first dance, whatever else you might have going on, because you are going to be very busy talking to all of your friends, all of your guests. And my friend did a great job of pulling me and saying, hey, it's time to cut the cake. Hey, it's time to do the throwing of the bouquet, because I told her ahead of time what time I wanted it to be, and she pulled me exactly at the time that I told her, and I didn't even have to worry about it. I just was able to relax and visit with all of our friends and family and just enjoy that time together. Okay, so number 4, plenty of ice. That's a thing that a lot of people don't think about for your reception. Make sure you have a lot of ice, about probably 1 pound of ice per guest. That way you'll have plenty for the drinks and anything else to keep something cold. You'll have plenty for all of your guests. You don't want to run out of ice and just have bland drinks or room temperature drinks. You want them to be very cold. You want to have plenty of ice for the big jugs that you have sitting out full for drinks. We had, I think, tea, some punch, and water. So you want to make sure ahead of time that you've got plenty of ice to keep the drinks cold. I think we actually did fine. I don't remember what we did. I think my mom was in charge of that. But that's one thing to keep in mind is I've heard stories of people running out of ice during the reception, and you don't want that to happen. So be prepared and make sure you have plenty of ice for your guests. Okay, so number 5. This is one thing I wished I had done. Practice music for the ceremony. So when we did our dress rehearsal the day before our wedding, we maybe practiced it 1.5 times. And then we're like, okay, we're done. So we didn't really practice the music. I don't even remember if they had the music playing for our rehearsal. I don't think our music guy was there on time. So we might not have even practiced the music. And that's a no-no, because on our wedding day, I think the music wasn't downloaded right. And so it kept stopping. And our music person got distracted and didn't know what button to press. And long story short, I didn't have any music for about 3/4 of the way walking down the aisle. And it was so awkward because I'm standing with my dad and I'm thinking, okay, let's wait, see if the music will come on. And my dad kept saying, are you sure you don't want to go? I'm like, oh, I really want the music for while I'm walking down the aisle. And so we're just standing there, and it seemed like an eternity, but it was probably, I don't know, a few minutes maybe. But I'm just standing there, and all of the guests are standing up, waiting for me to walk down. And they can see me too. My husband can see me. But it was so awkward. But I didn't let it faze me. I just decided, okay, let's go, Dad. And so we started walking, and then as I was almost there, the music finally started. So it's a funny story that we have now to tell, and I'm good friends with our music person, and he came up afterward, and his granddaughter is my niece, who is the flower girl. So the story was he was tearing up when he saw her walk down before me, and the music stopped, and then his glasses were all foggy from crying, and he couldn't see what button to press. So it's okay. I'm fine with it. I was just so happy in the moment and to be marrying my best friend. All right, number 6, pick people to serve food. That's one thing you don't want to forget. At our wedding, we didn't have much food, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm sure if you have like a full course meal, you're going to have people already from the company you had to make the food serve it. But if you don't, and you're trying to really save money, we had our wedding early afternoon, right after lunch, so we didn't have any meals for our guests to save money. We just had a popcorn bar, which is really cheap to make popcorn. And then we also had an ice cream bar, which we just got 3 really, I think they were gallon size tubs of ice cream from a store. I can't remember the name of the store we got them from, maybe Costco, I can't remember. But it was amazing ice cream, but it really helped us save a lot of money. The ice cream wasn't that expensive. And I think we had a few other snacks, we made cookies ahead of time for the wedding. And I think we got like a fruit tray or something. So super cheap, super easy. But we picked, I think, a couple of cousins and friends to help serve the ice cream, and a few friends from church to serve the popcorn, and everything else was you could serve yourself. So it was pretty simple. We only needed about 5 people to help, but just make sure if you do have something like that, you tell people ahead of time, okay, this is where you need to be. Tell them what time they need to be there, which that could be another job for your coordinator that you pick. Have them tell the people where to go and at what time to make sure that they're in their spot at the right time. Because some of those people might be in wedding pictures and they might not know where to go. So the wedding coordinator could also be in charge of telling them where to go. Okay, so number 6, practice your wedding hair before the wedding. I did that and I was so glad I did, because what I had envisioned in my head did not turn out the way I liked it. I gave a picture to my hairdresser of what I wanted my hair to look like, and she did it, but it was like a braid that goes across and then back behind, and it just didn't look right on me. My hair was too silky, the hair wasn't staying, so it was like coming out. So I asked her to do something else and it looked great. So make sure you go to your hairdresser or whoever does your hair. If you do something to save money, and if you have a friend who's really great, I didn't know of anyone who was really great at hair. And I've never done anything like that, so I just really wanted to splurge since it was my wedding. And it wasn't even that expensive. The hairdresser even didn't have me pay anything for the practice run. She did that for free, and then I think it was only $50 for her to do my hair, so pretty cheap. So if you find a good hairdresser that you trust, see if they'll practice on you for a hairstyle. Maybe show them pictures of what you want, and maybe practice a few things to see what's your favorite. I had my hair up. I kind of wished I'd had it down, because that's more natural me, and I feel like for your wedding day you need to be more natural. So I kind of wished I had done at least some of it down. But I really liked it being up too. It was beautiful. And I liked that you could see the back of my dress, because it was really pretty and the hair wasn't covering it up. So it's just up to you and what your preference is. So number 8, meet with your photographer. That is very important. I did not do that. I wished I had. I knew her somewhat. She was friends with some of our friends, and she was really cheap, so that's why I chose her. But if there's one thing that I would spend more money on for my wedding out of everything, it would probably be the photographer, because that's something that you're going to be able to look back on in years to come on how good your pictures are. Some of our pictures didn't turn out that great, and our photographer didn't take pictures of some of the things that I wanted, even though I told her I wanted it. I gave her a list. So go meet with your photographer ahead of time and discuss what you expect, and talk to her about exactly what kind of pictures you'll be getting, how many you'll be getting with the price, because my photographer didn't tell me that she wouldn't let me have some of the pictures, which is silly. I'm like, if you're not going to tell me, then you can't take away some of the pictures. So anyway, meet with your photographer, make sure all the details are worked out, and make sure that you're on the same page, and tell her what kind of poses you want. Maybe show her examples of pictures that you'd like to have so that she has them, and find out what her style is. So anyway, number 9, emergency kit. I didn't have this, but this is always a great thing to have. We didn't run into any emergencies, but I really liked this idea when I heard someone mention it to me. So number 9 is to make an emergency kit. Have needles, have thread, Band-Aids, something to eat, maybe some gum, anything else you can think of that you might want in case of an emergency. Water, in case you get thirsty all of a sudden. I don't know, soles to go in a shoe to make them more comfortable. Something that helps to make you feel relaxed, like a little massager, that could help. So it's really up to you. Just think of all the things that you might want to have. Number 10, overnight bag. This is one thing I kind of packed it, but you need to pick someone in charge of making sure that they pack up all your stuff from you getting ready that morning and put it in the getaway car. That's one thing I didn't do. I thought, oh, it'll be easy. I'll just go back and pack it all up after this reception. No, you don't want to do that. You want to just leave with your husband. And I still had my bag that needed to be packed. So we did our exit in the car and then came back, and I went to the room, packed up all my stuff, and put it in the car. So pick someone who can be in charge of getting all your stuff together so you don't have to. And 11, this is a very important one. Stay hydrated. Make sure your bridesmaids, put one of them maybe in charge of getting water and making sure y'all have plenty of water throughout the day. You're gonna be thirsty because you're nervous. Drink lots of water. Even if you have to go to the restroom, it's important to stay hydrated on your big day. Number 12, photo wrangler for the bride side of the family and the groom side. Your family is going to be everywhere, so pick one person from each side of the family to wrangle everyone together for the pictures. That'll help everything to run a lot more smoothly. Number 13, marriage license. Make sure you pick one person again to make sure that this is safe and that it is signed before you leave. That is very important. Thankfully, the man who married us, he kept it safe, and he made sure to find us during the reception. We signed it, and he got it to us safely. Because it needs to be turned in, I think, within a month after you get married, so you need it. So make sure after everything's signed and he's signed everything, that he gives it to you so that you can then turn it in to be, I can't remember what it is they do with it, but just to prove that you were married. Okay, number 14, gifts. Put someone in charge of making sure the gifts get to you safely. We didn't get ours right away. My parents got them all, brought them to their house, and then took a trip to visit us after about a week after we got married and brought us all of our gifts. So that was really nice that they were able to take care of everything and keep everything together, because it was a very crazy day. Number 15, have all of your special items together that you would like for your big day. If you have a special cake cutter, make sure you put it in a box with any other special things you might need that you don't want to forget the day of your wedding. You don't want to get there and then find out, oh, I don't have my cake cutter, and you have to use some regular knife from the kitchen that's not very pretty. If you want something that's going to be pretty and it might be special to you, make sure you put all of those special things in a box or a bag so that you don't forget them for the big day. Number 16, guest book pins. Make sure someone is in charge of making sure there are plenty of pins out to sign the guest book. Some people might forget and bring the pin with them and just not think about it, and so a lot of pins go missing. So make sure you've got plenty so that everyone gets to sign your guest book so that you can go back and look at that someday. Number 17, list that shows what items belong to who. When you're having a wedding on a budget, it is a great thing to have friends who've gotten married and have things that they're willing to share with you, let you borrow, or let you buy at a cheaper rate. That's what we did. We found a lot of other friends, family members who have gotten married, and they had a closet full of wedding supplies. So we went there and we used it for our wedding. So that helped save a lot of money on table displays and other decorations that we used throughout the ceremony and reception. But make sure you mark it carefully so that it doesn't hurt it, so that you know which items belong to which friend. Number 18, tear down crew. Make sure you have friends and family who are willing to stay after the wedding, after you leave, because you aren't staying to clean up. But make sure you have people who can be trusted to get everything cleaned up and where it needs to be. To save money, our location was completely free. We got married at my grandmother's church and they let us do it there for free. And in return, my parents and other family members and friends stayed till probably pretty late to get everything pristine and cleaner than they found it. And we found out later on that when the people came to church, they said it was cleaner than what it looked like before your wedding. So they really complimented my family on how they cleaned up. So make sure you have reliable people there who are willing to stay and clean up, especially if it's a venue that you're not paying for. You really want to thank them, and that's one way to thank the people who are letting you use their venue for free. So number 19, have someone set aside food for you. This is very important. And this is one thing I didn't think of, my mom did. She filled a box full of goodies for us, cookies that we didn't get to try our wedding day, lots of cake, the groom's cake and the bridal cake. We didn't have time to try that except for when we smashed the cake into each other's faces. So make sure you have someone who can do that for you as well. Set aside any and all just samples of all the different food on the wedding day, because you don't always have time to eat your food. And so that's a good way to get to do that. Number 20, relax. This is your big day. It's going to be great no matter what, because you're marrying your best friend. Even though nothing is ever going to go perfectly smooth, just relax and enjoy the time that you did. I'm glad I did. I mean, I was still a little nervous, and jittery just being up in front of a lot of people, because that always makes me nervous. I wasn't nervous about marrying my husband because I knew he was the only one for me, and that's what you need to do. Just relax, enjoy the time, and it'll be great. All right, guys, thanks for watching my video. If there's anything else that you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments below and subscribe. Bye.